Back again to another 5 minute study. I want to conclude the last three studies or the last two studies with this study. And I want to draw your attention to the main problem here in Daniel chapter 3. In Ezekiel 28, God says this, and I'm reading from verse 2 on. This is what the sovereign Lord says. In the pride of your heart, you say, I am a God. I sit on the throne of a God in the heart of the seas. But you are a man and not a God, though you think you are as wise as a God. Then he asks this question, are you wiser than Daniel? Is no secret hidden from you? It's interesting right here that God recognizes that people will think themselves as gods. They will do their will. They will follow what they decide to do. What they decide is right or what is wrong will be their decision. They will not submit to anybody else. But yet God asks this question. The God who is truly a God is one who understands all secrets. And then he asks this question, are you wiser than Daniel? Now remember in Daniel chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, but he could not remember his dream. Daniel comes along and God reveals the dream to Daniel. Daniel then approaches Nebuchadnezzar and says, no human being can understand these mysteries. It's only the God of heaven that can reveal these mysteries. And Nebuchadnezzar acknowledges this. It's amazing. But right after this, Daniel chapter 3, Nebuchadnezzar is filled with pride. He again esteems himself as the God. He wants people to worship him. You know, the sad thing about the story that we find in Ezekiel is that the devil is also brought out here. And what caused him to fall was the same thing that caused Nebuchadnezzar to fall. It says there, and I want to read this to you in verse 12. Verse 17. Your heart became proud on account of your beauty, and you corrupted your wisdom because of your splendor. Here we see that Lucifer was made an incredible, majestic being. But because of his wisdom and because of his beauty and all of this, he became proud. And Solomon says, pride always precedes a fall. Then God says this, so I threw you to the earth. I made a spectacle of you before kings. By your many sins and dishonest trade, you've desecrated your sanctuaries. So I made a fire come out from you, and it consumed you, and I reduced you to ashes on the ground, in the sight of those who were watching. Now I want you to understand here, we're already picking up something that is going to happen. God says this about Nebuchadnezzar. What is really going to cause the fall of your kingdom are two things. First of all, you think you're a God, and as a result of thinking that you're a God, because of the achievements that you have successfully done, you lift yourself up in pride. But God says, I will humble you. Now I want you to notice here in Daniel chapter 3, something happens, and I want you to notice that in the future, when people lift up their hearts and claim that they are gods, and it's terrible, dear friends, if I look around me, a lot of people reject God and claim to be the ones who dictate their own direction. They are a law to themselves. It's the time of the age of reason. But God's word says, let us reason together. He is the King of the universe. And it is very clear that God makes a statement here in Ezekiel that I will crush you, I will destroy you. Is this really going to happen? Nebuchadnezzar seems to be in control. Everything seems to be right here. In my next study, I'm going to show you the demise of this arrogant king filled with pride. It's true. In the next story, he will be revealed as this one who is in control. But those who see this and those who experience this have to make a decision. Are you going to bow down and worship these gods who claim to have power over your life? Or will you serve the true God who gives life? God bless you today.